I was remembered for goals. I was born to score goals. You have to put the work in to do that. When you miss one, you might miss two, you might miss three, and you score the fourth. People forget those that you missed. It's having the mental strength and mental toughness to do that.
Goal scorers are the hardest things to find in football, and he was the best.
You go through your Shearers, your Owens, your Fowlers and all these great goal scorers. God put Rushy above them all.
With great centre forwards, their finishing is so clinical, and Rushy was like that. Right foot, left foot, it didn't matter. He has to be up there as one of the greatest centre forwards ever to come out of the UK. He was the king of Welsh football.
The best of his type of centre forward around, and I believe in the world for a number of years. Simple as that.
I was brought up in Flint. You know, it was a little village in Wales, just on the Welsh-English border, so I wasn't a Liverpool fan, you know. My brother, who I used to follow, like 3 years older than me, he's a big Everton fan, and so I followed his footsteps, and he used to take me to watch Everton. When I was 11, looking back now, there must have been potential there, because I played for Deeside Primary Schools and I scored 72 goals in 30 games. And when I was 14, I was playing for the Welsh national side a year above me.
Ian Rush's exploits in youth football would bring him to the attention of local club Chester City.
I was happy, I felt at home at Chester. I went to Burnley on trial, I went to Wrexham on trial. Manchester United tried to come in, but really I was happy at Chester. And I just wanted to play football, and I just took things one step at a time. I remember the Chester doctor said, "Gordon Lee's here to watch you." I went, "Oh, no, that's great, like, for me, because I never told you and everything." I wouldn't say I had the best of games. Gordon Lee virtually said, "I'm not interested, I'm not good enough to play for Everton." I was absolutely gutted, to tell you the truth. And 3 months later, I signed for Liverpool. And my first reaction is, I'm going to make Everton pay.
After scoring 17 goals in his first full season at Chester, he joined Liverpool in 1980 for £300,000, a world record fee for a teenager at the time.
Liverpool came in for me, and I turned them down, first of all, because I didn't think I was good enough to go to Liverpool. The second time, Bob Paisley invited Alan Oakes, the Chester manager then, and my dad. So we went to look round there, and Bob Paisley was fantastic.
I can remember this kid turning up, skinny kid. Didn't have very much to say, came close to getting buried in the dressing room.
I was very, very nervous, very shy. It was a big ask, to go into there.
There were some big egos in there. There's people looking to put markers down on a regular basis.
You see Dalglish, Souness, Phil Thompson, Terry McDermott, going into a dressing room full of these superstars, and I just didn't know what to say. I didn't say nothing for about 6 or 7 months.
Hansons, your Dalglishes, your Souness had 3 jocks that were the big boys at the time. They would take the mickey out of him a fair bit, but they never really did it to a player that you would think, well, he's okay, he's maybe not going to make it, but the better the player, the more he was brought into the fold, and that was really taking the mickey out of him more than anything.
But on the pitch in training, I was determined to show them how good I was. And when I signed for Liverpool, the job was to get in the first team in 2 years. And I got in the side within a year.
You had a 77 European Cup winning team, 78, 81. And now this team was breaking up. Bob had to make decisions to let big players go.
And the introduction of fresh blood obviously helped all of us.
The likes of myself, Rushy, Sammy Lee, Craig Johnson, probably Bruce Grobbelaar was coming in. Rushy, he started off not scoring, but once he picked up, the goals came and the goals came.
Rush's 30 goals in the 1981-82 season propelled Liverpool to the First Division title and League Cup glory.
We did take it serious, and it did come to be a lucky competition for me. You know, to score at Wembley against Tottenham, and Ray Clemence was in goal for Spurs. You know, and he was an absolute legend at Liverpool.
Liverpool would retain both the First Division title and the League Cup the following season as the Reds maintained their dominance over English football. A key factor in Liverpool's success was the understanding between Ian Rush and his strike partner, Kenny Dalglish.
We had a great understanding. When I first got into the side, Kenny said, when I get the ball, you just run there.
Because his movement was brilliant. It was really sharp and he could finish anyway.
Kenny didn't look, he'd just put the ball, he was that good, he'd put that ball in the situation.
You can't just run into a space. You've got to get yourself in a position to get into that space.
And first of all, I had a yard because I knew he was going to do it. And second, the second yard was made that was I was quick. So I really had two yards on defenders before they made the move.
Kenny had a great footballing brain. He obviously didn't have the pace that Rushy had. Rushy was the one that wanted to get on the shoulder and run forward all the time. So Kenny getting on the ball and seeing the picture he would see was great for Rushy.
The 1983-84 season saw Ian Rush become the most prolific striker in Europe with 32 league goals.
It's most probably the year which I most probably grew a stature as a player. I went from a boy to a man because I was quicker, I was stronger, you know, I was confident in what I was doing, and I was the first British player to win the European Golden Boot. That was an incredible year. For me, I'd say it's most probably individually my best season.
But he wasn't just a goal machine. Rushy was our first line of defence, really. He was like this animal stalking. He would let on he's not looking, the centre-back would just have a touch a little bit too far, and then he was on him. And once Rushy moved, everybody else then closed up.
If I thought I could win the ball in the opposition, I'd close them down. I'd be the first line of pressing. You know, then Kenny would close, Suey would close, Anson would close.
When we scored so many goals from his first movement, he wasn't just a great goal scorer, he was a great team player as well.
Liverpool claimed a third successive First Division and League Cup double, but their attention now turns to European glory.
The two previous seasons, we were knocked out in the quarterfinals, I think, both seasons. And I think that was the effect of having young lads in the team.
84 came, I was experienced, I was ready for it. I scored against Benfica, I scored the winning goal against Bilbao, and also the Bucharest. That was amazing because the first game I think we might have won 1-0, you know, and most probably Suey did, I think, done something off the ball. I don't quite know what it was, but there's a fella on the floor. I don't think you get away with it today.
You had to leave the pitch. So the return game, there's a fair bit of hostility. And then Rushy got us a goal, I think, I'm guessing maybe within 20 minutes.
I remember scoring 2 great goals, and we beat them 2-1. You know, we got to the first European Cup final for me in Rome, you know, against Roma. We felt we could beat anyone in the world because we had this such great team spirit.
We weren't scared of anyone.
But going to Roma, you know, in their own backyard to play them was a big ask. It was an amazing atmosphere, and I think there's only maybe about 20% of Liverpool supporters there. But one thing about that game I remember is you can always hear them singing as well. So Phil Neal scores, they equalise. And I don't remember a lot about the game then because it went pretty dead.
As the match descended into stalemate, the two sides would require penalties to separate them.
We'd all practiced penalties the day before and we all missed. No, so we're thinking the last thing we want is penalties. Phil was first, no, Sue was second, I was third. I think Alan and Steve before, but for some reason, Steve Nicol just started walking. And he missed. And in ways, funny that is, that I think it made it a lot easier for us. I think they scored, then I think Neely put a great penalty and Suey put a great penalty, and when it come to me, most probably the most nerve-wracking I've ever been. If you ever look at the goalkeeper, as I'm running up there, he's actually gone too early. You know, he's actually gone that way, so he made me mind up straight away. I remember going down on my knees and saying that my heart was pounding like that, you know, say the relief of scoring a goal, it was incredible.
Alan Kennedy ensured Liverpool were crowned European champions for a 4th time and completed a unique treble, which ensured legendary status at the club for the boys of '84.
The 84 to do the treble is incredible and all that, and it's something, you know, I look back and I feel we're proud now, saying I'm proud I played in that team.
The following season, the Reds hoped to retain the European Cup and faced Italian champions Juventus in Heysel in the final.
To get to the final in Heysel was amazing, you know, and Juventus there, you know, the great side, you know, Platini, Boniek, you know, they had some the Cabrini, you know, they had these great players. The game was delayed, everything. We weren't sure what's happening. We knew something was wrong, but we didn't know what. We played the game as if it wasn't bothered, and I think Juventus scored a penalty and no one complained about it. Ronnie Whelan got fouled at absolute 100% penalty, and none of us complained then. And I think it was just like you wanted to get the game over. It didn't seem like a final to me.
Liverpool's defeat was overshadowed by the loss of 39 lives. The fallout from that game led to English teams being banned from European club football and the resignation of Liverpool manager Joe Fagan. He was replaced by Dalglish as the club's first player manager, whose goal against Chelsea sealed the league title and set up a potential League and FA Cup double.
For me, no, the FA Cup final was something special. I'll never forget, when I was a kid, I used to dream about scoring the winning goal in the FA Cup final. I'd won the league, I'd won the European Cup, I'd won the League Cup, but I hadn't won the FA Cup. It's amazing, you know, not only playing in front of 100,000, you're playing Everton. You know, it's the first Merseyside FA Cup final. You know, 1-0 down half time, Gary Lineker scores.
Kenny went, listen, that's the worst we can play and we're still in this game. And then we turned it on a bit second half, and then, needless to say, Rushy steps up again and starts scoring against Everton.
I was quite quick and I knew exactly how to play the offside trap and against Everton, you know, and Jan Moby put a great ball through to me. I rounded the keeper, you know, and knocked it in. Craig Johnson got a second goal, and the third goal was the one to kill him off, really. You only had a chance to play to Kenny to the left or me to the right. And Kenny was shouting for it, but he actually played it to me to right. I controlled it and knocked it in. And to win 3-1, it was most probably the best night of my life then, because it was amazing. My dream has come true. It's amazing how many goals I scored against Everton. You know, it's just one of them things where I went out knowing I was going to score against Everton. They played Highline, it was tailor-made for me. You know, when you got these great players, Dalglish, you know, Sammy Lee, Alan Hansen, you know, they were like that, and they were just pushing the ball through for me to score. The day I scored 4 goals against Everton, and I'll never forget, Bob Paisley came up to me before the game and said, do you know no one scored a hat-trick in about 50 years in the Merseyside derby? He said, you could be the one to do this. He said to me before the game, I went out there, you know, and I scored 4 goals.
I think we played a game that suited him. I honestly do. and maybe we should have started, you know, or being told that maybe we shouldn't have played the way, you know, by squeezing up. One thing having pace, but the other thing is having the timing of the run.
I went to school with Kevin, you know, and he must have hated me even more then. And Neville was the Welsh goalkeeper and everything. So when we got to play for Wales, you know, they used to give me so much stick. I was Everton as a kid, and I was disappointed that I never went to Everton when they had the chance. And for me, I was going to make them pay.
Ian Rush's goal-scoring exploits attracted the attention of the Italian giant Juventus. He joined the Bianconeri for a fee of £3.2 million in 1987.
I went to Juventus. I remember the first time I went there, Michel Platini just finished with them, and he was training with us, and he actually said, "You've come to the best team at the wrong time." I had a good pre-season, you know, then I got injured. It was difficult to adjust, and they played different way to Liverpool.
It was easier for midfield players in Italy at that time because basically you got the ball, the opposition dropped off to deepen their half, and for a midfield player, that made it easier. But for a striker, if everyone's dropped off, there's no space for them.
When people say, "No, I was a failure," I don't see myself as a failure. I was at home one night in Italy, you know, and I got a phone call, and it was Sir Alex Ferguson saying, you know, "No, are you interested in signing for Manchester United?" Well, I'm not for sale. He went, yeah, I know. Next thing, Colin Harvey, the Everton manager, and I said, I want you to come back to Everton. I know you're Everton support, and I'm gonna. So, am I for sale? He went, yeah. Next thing, I got a phone call. See you, oh, it's Kenny, you know, and that Scottish accent, you know. He said, "Listen, you're on the 7 o'clock flight coming back." He said, "I'll meet you at Manchester Airport and leave the rest to me." I went, "Okay then." I think I went to Italy as a boy and came back as a man, both on and off the pitch.
Rush rejoined Liverpool in July 1988. However, the team had changed in his year away.
People don't give Kenny Dalglish enough credit for when I left. He bought 3 players to replace me and changed the way of playing. He went and got John Aldridge, Ray Houghton and John Barnes, you know, and also Beardsley as well. And he changed the way of playing. Instead of going down, he'd go wide. The way John Barnes would get down that wing and cut a ball over for John Aldridge there. When I did get back to Liverpool, I was still struggling with injuries and illnesses and all that. And John Aldridge took, he was more determined. You know, he's scoring goals and all that, and he was doing really well. And but I was determined to get myself back in there.
With Aldridge amongst the goals, Rush had to bide his time for chances as Liverpool chased the league and cup double. However, the events of the 15th of April 1989 would leave an indelible mark on English football.
I remember the semi-final against Notts Forest and everything. It was difficult because I was on the bench and people coming on the pitch and everything. You know, it was difficult to know what was happening. All that. It's only when we were back in the dressing room and people coming through the dressing room side and saying, "No, there's people dead out there." These people just went to watch a football game and a lot of them didn't come back. Football in secondary then.
96 Liverpool fans lost their lives on that day. Three weeks later, Liverpool overcame Nottingham Forest in a replay of that match to set up the second all-Merseyside FA Cup final.
When we went out, and there was red and blue all round Wembley, 100,000 there, and you know, the Everton supporters next to Liverpool supporters all round the ground. And when I heard that Merseyside, all they sang was Merseyside. That was so emotional. Normally I don't get emotional, but I got emotional, and I was just on the bench. Aldo scores a great goal early on, and you think you're going to win the game. Goal got an equaliser in the last minute.
We were struggling again, and you're struggling to find goals, and then you see Russia run on, you think we've got a chance now again.
The first goal I scored when I managed to turn Kevin Ratcliffe. And again, McCall goes down, scores again. You think, no, this is going to be a hell of a game. John Barnes put a great ball into me, and I just got a deftness of head. and went past Neville, you know, and it didn't give Everton time to get back into it, and you know, we'd won.
It's Rushy, isn't it? Big time occasion, big time player. Everton as well. We knew we had to win. We could not walk away from there after the whole Hillsborough situation. We could not walk away from there having lost that game.
The following season, 1989-90, John Aldridge was sold to Real Sociedad after Ian Rush had re-established his position as Liverpool's main striker. He won his 5th league title with the club. However, it would prove to be a watershed moment for the Reds.
Well, 1990 was the last time we won that, and if people said to me, you know, that you're not going to win the title again for 20-odd years, you just laugh at them. You know, say it's just not going to happen. You know, unfortunately, from a Liverpool point of view, it has happened.
The following season, Kenny Dalglish stunned the world of football by resigning as Liverpool manager.
When Kenny left, you know, it was hard to take, to tell you the truth. You know, Ronnie Ram took over for a bit, you know, and all that, and Graham came.
I can't remember when he played for me as a manager, he had lost anything. I mean, his biggest asset, people would say, was his pace. He might say he lost half a yard, but I never saw that in him. He was still the same threat. People were still terrified of him.
Graham Souness had the best ideas, but he tried to change them too quick. In my opinion, he tried to change them too quickly.
In the 7 years I was away, 2 in Italy, and the 5 I spent in Scotland, when I came back, that dressing room had changed dramatically. It wasn't an easy time for me to go back and manage them, but looking back, I made lots of mistakes.
What he's trying to do was the right idea, to change things the way they did in Italy. But I think just because he tried to change them too quickly and it didn't happen.
In 1992, Rush was at Wembley once again as he reached his 3rd FA Cup final.
We were odds-on favourites to win on Mikel Sunderland, but Wembley, anything can happen in the FA Cup final. I think Michael Thomas scores a goal, a great goal, and no, I scored the 2nd goal, again in the side netting. I was proud because I think I scored most goals in cup finals than any other player.
Ian Rush's playing career with Liverpool came to an end in 1996. In a total of 660 games, he scored an incredible 346 goals.
I look back now and say, I'm proud of what I've done at Liverpool Football Club. I am the record goal scorer. I scored 346. In my lifetime, that's not going to be beat. Records are there to be broken. But I can safely say that record, that won't be broke. I was so lucky I played for Liverpool. I won loads of things now, but the only disappointment in my career was not qualifying for a major tournament. Well, I made my Welsh debut actually before as I left Chester. So we go to Scotland on a Wednesday and Ian Walsh gets injured and Mike England, the manager, said, "Oh, you're going on." So me and Kevin Ratcliffe was also with me then on the bench.
The funny thing was Ian warming up. He didn't know how to warm up.
So Ratcliffe was saying, get warmed up. I said, no, I just want to go on. He said, no, look as if you're interested.
Rushy, you know, stretch your hamstrings. And he hadn't got a clue how to warm up because he'd never been a sub.
My first goal for Wales was against Northern Ireland. Brian Flynn crossed it and it was a rare header. It's hard to understand why we didn't qualify, but we didn't qualify. And they say, even look at it now, when they worked out under the rules now, we would have qualified twice. But it's the teams we're supposed to beat that we didn't beat. Don't know the reason why, because we did have quality players.
That team that I first come into under Terry Orriff was a talented team, and so many winners. You had Neville Southall, Dean Saunders, Mark Hughes, Kevin Ratcliffe. And I wouldn't say Rushy was the loudest out of the lot, but I think he was the one with the most respect that everyone sort of like looked up to, because at the time he was the superstar. The nearest we got, and we should have qualified for, was America at '94 World Cup, where we just missed out against Romania.
That's the biggest disappointment of my career, of not qualifying for a major tournament.
Ian Rush finished his career with brief spells at Leeds, Newcastle and Wrexham, but he will always be synonymous with Liverpool Football Club, where he remains the club's greatest ever goal scorer.
His legacy for Liverpool and British football, to me, will be as a great, great goal scorer.
For a winger and for a midfielder who likes to provide assists, he was the perfect centre forward in so many respects.
People say that I'm biased because I know him. But I'd actually say he's the best striker that maybe Great Britain have seen.
You just have to see his record to say that he's one of the best centre-forwards ever.
He's probably as good a finisher as what you've seen.
Important goals. He won so much.
Just a goal machine. And he was arguably the best of his type of striker in the world.
His record speaks for itself, being that he played 640-odd games, 346 goals, and only 4 of them were penalties.
He made a huge contribution to this football club's history and success.
Sometimes you'll be remembered as goals, so you know, I'm quite happy with that.